Hi, I'm Scott, CEO of GitButler. We're going to talk about uncommitting today. So let's go into uncommitting. How do you uncommit something? I'm going to show you how to do it in GitButler, which is going to be obviously very easy. And then we're going to show you how to do it in Git. So we'll get onto the command line and actually do that. So let me show you my very simple sort of setup here. Okay, so this is my simple setup in GitButler, right? We have a new features branch. We have 4 commits on the new feature, and we can see sort of on these, right, that we have a couple files changed in each one. So what we want to do is we want to uncommit one of these, right? So let's say this one, you know, I'm adding features.md to this thing. I don't want this in there. I want to undo it. So in GitButler, you can, you know, sort of click on this and just say uncommit, and it pulls the commit out. So now we only have 3 commits, and this feature stuff is sort of here in the unassigned in sort of the working directory. So we can commit this, we commit it to another lane, or we could stash, or we could do whatever we want to. So it's fairly easy to do. Now let's try to do this in Git, right? So let's go to our command line and try to do this exact same thing. Okay, so now we're on the command line. Let's try to do this exact same thing in Git. So let's see where we are. So now we have the same thing, right? We have our 4 commits here. We want to get rid of this features.md one. We just want to pull it out. So how do we do this? So it's not the easiest thing to do, right? What you really want to do is you want to rebase. So you're going to do rebase-i, so it goes into sort of its scripted mode. You're going to stop at the commit that you want to sort of undo. You're going to reset it so that it kind of undoes that commit. Stash that so that you can, you know, you still want to have the changes, right? You could just drop it. That's one thing. Actually, why don't we try that first? That's a relatively easy thing to do, right? So, all right, so we'll rebase-i origin main. And what it's going to do is it's going to put us into this rebase sort of pick list thing. And we're going to say this features.md, this is what we don't want. So we could just drop it, right? And now if we look at the log again, now we just have the 3 commits. That commit is just dropped. That's fairly easy to do. Now the other thing that but the harder thing there is that we've essentially lost that commit. So it doesn't go into your working directory, right? The way that uncommitting something in GitButler does, it just kind of drops it. And so you don't have those changes anymore. It's a little difficult to get back. So instead of that, let's try to do the other thing. So we're going to reset to where we were at before, and we'll see, okay, now we have our 4 commits back, right? So now let's try to do this where we keep that features.md stuff, or, you know, whatever changes were in that commit, that we keep them in our working directory. So we do the same rebase-i again. What we're going to do here is edit this, and then what it'll do is it'll stop after it gets to that point, right? So now if we look at the log, it has applied this. So essentially we want to undo it, right? So we'll reset. And now we have that file there. And we're going to stash this. Okay, so now that's stashed, and now we can continue. And now if we look at our log, we just have these 3, right? And, you know, the working directory is empty, or doesn't have any changes in it. So we can stash apply. And now we get that back. So now we've essentially gotten back to the point that we had in GitButler, which is, you know, we've undone the commit, and the changes in the commit are sort of modified in the working directory. And so we can then commit those or stash those or do whatever we want to. But you can see it's not quite as straightforward, right? So that's uncommitting, right? That's undoing a particular commit and having the changes in your working directory so that you can do whatever you want to with them. A little bit more difficult in Git. You have to know a little bit of rebase. You have to, you know, be able to sort of modify stuff in rebase, reset, you know, do a couple of somewhat complicated things. But it's not impossible. It just takes a little bit longer. It's a little bit more error prone. But, you know, clearly, if you want to do this very easily, you can use GitButler and just sort of right click and say uncommit something. So that's uncommitting. Hope you enjoyed that. Come back next time for more Git and GitButler tips.